Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Halo Gaming channel to Let's Make a Sci-Fi RPG part. I want to say 4, so I'm gonna say 4, part 4. In the last episode, we got through a couple of the recordings. It jumped a lot, so we got to see the win condition, the lose condition, you can see all that kind of stuff, and then we jumped into a laser particle effect that I was working on and was having very little success with, using Unity's new visual effects graph. So there is a little bit more of me messing around with the PFX graph, which we're going to watch, and then we jump into something a little bit different. I've spoken about it before in previous videos, so that will be pretty cool. So just bear with me. So I'm trying to get a laser effect so that when you shoot the weapon, so when the player shoots the weapon, we have a cool laser effect coming out. I kind of jumping back and forth between having it be a repeating effect for like a machine gun, or a single burst of a laser that then you can kind of loop that one effect, if that makes sense. So instead of having loads of these particles spawning, it would spawn once, but then in code you would say like play it over and over and over again. If that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, that's fine. So I'm just messing with, this is the turbulence, so we're just trying to get it to look, I mean, I don't think turbulence is what I want, and I've not figured out how to get exactly what I want. Because turbulence just makes it move in all these different directions, and I don't really want that. I think what I want is a rotation. And I've tried adding force to the rotation, and it doesn't quite work. I've never gotten it to work. I know it is possible. I've seen other people do it. Like I've seen people do like tornadoes and spinny things, like lasers and magical effects and that kind of stuff using visual effects graphs. So I know it's possible. I just don't know how it's done yet. But I'll learn. Because not only am I determined and driven, but I'm a stubborn motherfucker. And I will stick at it until I figure out how to get what I want. So I'm just going to tweak these in the updates. So we've got, maybe I could have put in a random number sine wavy node thing for the actual rotation. So that burst, if you didn't see the last video, that first kind of, I want to say blue, but I'm colorblind, so bluey, purpley, burst, that bluey, purpley, colory, that specific colory one, the one that just came out once, that is the main laser effect, and this I want to kind of be like a trail. I want that kind of spinning around it. That was the idea behind it. It's not working because I've never done node-based stuff before. And as much as I love particle effects, it's trial and error. Problem is, it's when you don't know what you should be trying, it's slow going and it's more difficult to learn, especially when you're just trying to teach yourself. But they still look cool, even though it's not what I want. You could use that kind of effect for something like, if you had more particles and made it bigger, that could be like a super speedster, like the Flash moving, or like a warp trail, or a going through a portal and then zoom, kind of, it could be a cool effect. Not what I want. But the effects that you can do with the visual effects graph are amazing. And I really want to learn more of them, so we're just going to scrub through this a bit. So then I rotated them around a little bit. This is just insane. That's not what I want. So we're doing angular velocity. I'm changing the angular velocity Don't know why, because I don't really. I'm just messing around with it, trying to see if I can, you know, because I think I just want to rotate it around the Z, the Z. No, not the Z. Rotating around the y-axis would be rotating it kind of that way. Rotating around the x-axis, if it's going forward, would be rotating it that way. Rotating around the z-axis, yeah. So rotating around the z-axis, so that it does kind of that. It spins as it moves. So it spins as it moves. That's the kind of effect I want, and I'm not getting. Pew pew. So we're just gonna. So that was the main one there. No. I'm getting some kind of rotation. I don't know what you could use this for, but I still think it looks cool. I'm in love with the visual effects graph. And I think it was I liked the particle effect system before, and I got really interested in doing particle effects last year, just using the old particle system in Unity. I think the VFX graph, when that came out, and when I heard about it coming out and saw what it was going to be able to do, that's what kind of made me fall in love with visual effects for games. Because last year I actually thought that maybe when I went for a job in the industry after graduating, that I'd go for a 3D modeling job, because I love 3D modeling. But now I'm thinking 3D modeling, or more than likely I'll try to get into the visual effects kind of thing, because you just got to make such cool stuff that look amazing. And I know it's not always going to be making explosions or magical effects or lasers. Sometimes it'll be making clouds and rain, or even just like little dust poofy things when a player steps down. But those kind of things really add to a game, and you miss them when they're not there, and even they can look kind of cool. So that's my plan anyway. Of course, the other thing would be go indie, make my own games, and do most, if not all of it. Which, to be said, that's a lot of work. I'd rather kind of join a small team of indie developers where we could all, work to our strengths. Like there's some people in my class at the minute, and they're on my group project, one of them is an absolutely amazing level designer. Like he's already making, AAA quality stuff. He's just brilliant. I mean, and he's also a very good 3D modeler. And then we've got one who's a great programmer, and another guy who's also a great level designer. And I mean, he's really good at a lot of stuff. He's been doing cinematics as well, and he's kind of figured out timeline and Cinemachine and stuff. So I think a team like that would be brilliant, because then I could slot myself in doing visual effects and help out the programming and 3D modeling side of things. Level design is not my strong suit. And cinematics and stuff wouldn't be my strong suit either. And then we just need like an artist and an animator. So I do know somebody who's in the animation course who is an amazing artist and animator. So get her on board. We could have a ready-made team. It'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool effects going there. Additive. Some color. It's no longer a laser. This now is just like like a shower of particles. This gets kind of crazy. Importing VFX. It just goes nuts. I don't know what's going on there. This seems to be turning itself on and off. That's very strange. Even a laser light show, if that's what you want. Whoa. At least you're getting an idea of what the VFX graph can do. It's not doing anything like what I wanted to do, but it is doing some pretty cool stuff. all just by tweaking the nodes that I have. And, there's a lot more nodes that I haven't used. So you can add them in. I do need to go through it and just kind of take a look at the nodes, try and figure out what they all do, take a look at them one by one, and see what effect they have on the particle. And then maybe that way I can learn how to get the effects that I want into a game. Let's change the color again. Got some, let's say, I don't know. That looks okay. This is strange. Right, well, I'm looking at my monitor, and I'm watching this video back on whatever that is. What is this? Films and TV. I don't know. It was just the default. It just opened that. I don't know if this is the best thing to watch it on. But the likes of these are kind of blurry. It's not the best quality. It looks kind of blurry. So, it's not like it's HD quality or anything. But when I look at OBS, at what OBS is recording, it looks a lot better on that. So I don't know if it's going to turn up in high quality for you guys when I upload it to YouTube, or if it's going to be this kind of slightly blurry quality, because if it's blurry, it's going to be very hard to read what's on these. But I can read it kind of perfectly on OBS. It's strange. I guess I could just watch the YouTube video when I upload it. I do upload them as 1080p HD videos onto YouTube, so I don't know if that will make a difference in terms of this, but we'll see. We'll see. What are the group guys doing? Group guys doing well. What I would like, that's fine. We've loads of time. Fairly soon, let's see. This is the scale, so I'm making them longer. It's scale over life, so they'll start really small, then they'll grow to being, no they won't, then they'll grow to being really big, or they'll grow to being, and then it should, that's how it should work for the scale. So if it's with these curves, you can get a really fine control over how they look. So you can see that it's kind of starts small, they get bigger, and then I can't see the end of it because they're going too far, but they'll get smaller again. Still having that issue that sometimes when I look at it, I can't see what's going on. Very annoying. If anybody knows how to fix that or why that's happening, please comment below and let me know, because it's doing my head in. Just change the scale of some stuff. We get this that's kind of cool. We get kind of a if I could get that into a tight enough kind of cylinder shape, it could be a kind of a cool laser effect, like a really, really tight cylinder, so that it's almost a line, but it's a line made up of all these different particles coming out at once. That could look kind of cool. Oh, so I still have the original. Oh, I have. So that's kind of cool. That should be in the middle of all that, though, really. Beginning, because this is supposed to be the main one. This purpley one is supposed to be the main one, and then this is supposed to be like the effect around it or trailing behind it, or kind of it's like energy crackly off it kind of thing. But now this is becoming the main one that you see, and the purpley one is kind of getting lost in it. So, but hey, c'est la vie, as they say in France, or c'est la vie. J'aime la baguette. I have often been complimented on my French, both my mastery of the spoken language and the accent. J'aime la baguette. C'est la vie. I did study French for 6 years in school. Don't remember really any of it. Never have to use it. I mean, I live in Ireland. We don't speak French here. It's crazy. Duh. China. I mean, that's kind of. It's kind of. No, I don't know. It's okay. I guess, you know? Pew pew. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. It's a laser. It shoots. I mean, you know. That's kind of what you want it to do, I guess. My beard is getting so long. And yes, I know I could shave, but the beard trimmer I have is no longer holding charge. So I can't. I have ordered a new one. Gotta wait for that to arrive. Yes. Just get through this a little bit more. I want to make sure that we have time to move on to the cool thing that we get onto after this. Because I did have a quick look at this video before I started, and just to see how long I kept going with the particle before I gave up. It was quite a while. And I saw what we move on to next, which is something I've spoken about before and I think is a very good thing to show. Especially when talking about, you know, tweaking things, because you said about, you know, making the level, and now that we have the level and everything working basically the way we want, it's all about polishing and making things look and feel and work better. So we are going to move on to something like that right now. Okay. So, an hour and a half worth of recording, plus however long I spent in between recordings, I don't know, on that particle effect. Plus whatever I'd done before I started recording, because we kind of started in the middle. I had to actually make that effect. So a couple of hours on a particle system that I didn't get to work the way I wanted it to. Yeah, so here. Anyway, this is my animator. We saw me set... No, we didn't. If you watched my animator assembly attempt videos, you saw me set up something like this, which has all the movements, so walking backwards, turning, moving forwards. You don't know. I don't know if this is... Just move in. Is this crouch or armed? If I'd have to zoom in closer to read, that's left turn, or click on one of these so I can actually see what it means. Also player with weapon, so that's crouch. So I have walking and I have crouching, and then I have another player with weapon animator controller. So I said that I had an animator override controller that I had referenced in the script, so that when you picked up a weapon, it switched from the player anim controller to the player with weapon anim controller. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up blend trees, and I spoke about blend trees in my animator assembly attempt video. They're a much better way to implement player movement and player animations, and to smoothly switch between them. And I actually got a comment on the animator assembly attempt part 1 video from somebody that said the same thing, is no game actually just uses the animator component the way I had set it up in part 1 of the animator assembly attempt video. they should all use blend trees. Now, I did mention blend trees in part 2, and I did say that we would go on to do blend trees in this project, and here we are doing blend trees. So with the blend tree, you set your parameters. So these are floats. So you've got velocity x and velocity y. So that's going to be your velocity in. You'll see why it's x and y, because you'll end up with this. So this is your. You know what? I'll try and explain it as we go through it. I think it's going to be difficult. Basically, when you're blending between them, you've got your forward movement going up and down. So that's the y, and your kind of either rotation or left and right movement going on the x. So that's why it's y and x, and not z and x. So you can put in as many motions as you want. Then you set up where they are. So it's a 2D freeform directional. So that's what this is. Right. So this is your blend tree. So when you're at 0 on x and 0 on y, you're idle. You're not moving. When you go to 0.5 on the y, you're walking. And when you go to 1 on the y, you're running. And it will blend between those. So if you did watch my animator assembly attempt videos, you will have noticed that when I implemented the running with Shift and W on the keyboard, the character kind of started walking, then ran, and then when he stopped running, he kind of started walking again. So he jumped from one animation to the next instead of kind of smoothly transitioning. And also then I had the kind of turny thing, so he couldn't walk forward and turn at the same time. He'd kind of walk forward and then he'd turn and then he'd walk. So that's why blend trees just kind of blend all those animations together and get them all working. A little kind of, it's not complicated. It's the same as the animator really. It's the original way we did it. In so far as it looks complicated if you have no idea what you're doing, and it is the first time you go slow and you try and make sure that you've got it all right. But once you get used to it, it's quite handy and quite it just kind of makes sense. So you're walking at 0.5 on the y, 0 on the x. You're running at 1 on the y, and 0 on the x. You should be able to see. So this is a little a preview. So you can drag the thing up so you can see. He kind of. I'd have to play. Duh. He's idling. He's going to walk, and he's walking faster, and then he's running, and then he goes back down to idle. So it's that kind of thing. That's the effect you're going for, and then you can set it up so that you have basically a cross of all these things for moving forward and backwards. It also means that when I go back to the base layer, which had all the original offshoots of everything, I can add another blend tree that has basically the same movements but with the armed animations. And then in script I can just reference each blend tree. So I don't need 2 animator controllers anymore. I just have 1 animator controller with a blend tree. And that seemed to work really well for this. Because trying to figure out, I actually had to look up a lot of tutorials on to figure out how to switch from one animator to another. It's something I hadn't done before, and getting animator override controllers and stuff is more complicated than the level that I'm currently at. At least that's what I found. I did get it to work, but it was a little bit more, more advanced than I would like to be. So yeah. So you've got this little blend thing. You got so this is what you'll be able to reference. Vel X, this should be Vel Y, really. So instead of blend, you've got Vel Y, so that should work then. So that when you move that, it will move. Okay, so we go. So I'm back in Mixamo, and I'm going to get some strafe animations. So rather, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement mouse movement. So the mouse is going to rotate it. So I want A and D, instead of rotating, which is the way I have it set up at the minute, A and D will strafe them left and right. We don't need to see me download all these things. You go to mixamo.com, sign in with an Adobe account, and you can download all these. You can download the models, you can download the animations, and you can search. They have tons and tons of animations that you can just download and pop in. So that's what I do. And I just take the animation and I put it onto the model that I did in Mudbox. In Mudbox Mayhem that we saw. If you watch that video, if you haven't, I highly recommend it. I do highly recommend watching the animator assembly attempt videos, especially because now we're doing blend trees in this video, so it'll be a good foundation to see exactly where I started with the animator component in Unity to where I am now using blend trees. And you'll get to see why blend trees are better. They're just better. So I've got some motion. So idle is 0, 0, walking is 0.5, running is 1. I should rename these. So this one is strafe left. So strafe left is minus 0.5. So that's, on the A or left button. I don't think I'm going to be using mouses or arrows. I'm going to be using mouses. Mousies the Pisces. And yes, I am a Pisces. Birthday was the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I had to spend it at home, just like everybody else who's had a birthday since this whole COVID-19 thing kicked off. Which I don't mind, but the most annoying part was that was a Monday, I believe. I had plans to go, or was that the Tuesday? No, that was the Tuesday, and I had plans to go out for drinks on the Tuesday for my birthday with my friends. And over the weekend beforehand, I was like, should I just see if they want to go out for drinks on the weekend in case the pubs close because of the COVID-19? And I was like, sure, they're not going to close that soon. And especially not before St. Patrick's Day. It's the biggest day of the year for them. And then Sunday, the message came out that they were closing at midnight on Sunday for the foreseeable future. So I never got my birthday drinks. And I could have. Should have just gone out the weekend. That was the so sad. And I haven't seen them since. But they're okay. Yes, so, and then walking right is 0.5. You could also, if you had a running, do I have a walking backwards, which is going to be negative 0.5 on the Y. On the Y. So that's. I mean, it's still kind of working, but it shouldn't be. There we go. So it shouldn't be there. It should be here. So don't take that. Undo. You grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. So he walks backwards. He idles. Kind of starts. He stops. So you've got a lot more control over it, over the movement, because they're floats, and it's every decimal will change the movement and just blend the animations together. So it's dead handy. It's dead handy. It is. Walking. And you can see everything they just come in here, put in the animations here, get them all connected up. Unarmed movement, that's what this is called. And you've got all your, now there's no crouching in it yet. I I could do another blend tree for crouch. I don't know if I keep crouch in. Do I still have crouch as a thing? I can't remember. But if I do, I do. Don't need crouch though. Who crouches in an RPG? Nobody. So we go back to the base layer. And you can see this is what I had. All this. So I'm just going to delete it. Left turn, walk, run, delete all this. Delete all the crouch. Unless I want to leave the crouch in. And just have the blend tree go. I will end up deleting all that. Even if I haven't already, when I get back into, I will end up deleting all that because if I'm going to do crouch, I'm going to do it as a blend tree as well. And not leave all this because this is just, it's not ideal. So now I have another blend tree that's going to be unarmed. So I am going to do a crouch. So that's cool. Unarmed crouch move. And it's going to be the same thing. So we got our blend tree. We're going to click on it. Do a 2D freeform directional with bell X and bell Y. Bell X, bell Y. So we've got the two of them here. Then we're going to add in. So you just tick the plus to add in a motion, and then you go to your animations that I downloaded from Mixamo, and you find crouching idle. So you're going to want to bring that in, crouching idle, to there. So it starts them off crouching, and then you can add more and more and more. And you can set up exactly where on the blend tree you want to be. So just add a motion field so that you can actually see all this. Selected child has no motion assigned. Well, it will. There you go. Two or more of the positions are too close to each other. So they're all the same right now. So I need to set them up. So crouch walk is going to be 1. Crouch idle is 0. Crouch walk is 1. Add a motion field. This is going to be crouch walk back. Should be -1 on the Y. -1. Not -14, -1, 0 on the X, so that pops it here. And then you'll have walk left, walk right. So -1 + 1 on the X. And for crouching, that will be all I need. I don't think I have a crouch run. Crouching turn. I don't have a crouching strafe. So let's download a crouching strafe if I can find it, which I do. And just download them. Pop them back into Unity. And so then I can set up them. And then it'll be the same thing for the armed animations and the armed crouch if I have it. I don't remember. I'm going back into this crouched sneaking, right? I should have downloaded all these. Why am I back here? I don't know. Come back to my blend tree. Oh, I've got to bring them in. I suppose that's fair. Can't use them in Unity if I don't bring them in. So we're going to add another motion field, and this one we're going to take, I'd say the left. Oh yeah, very smart. Don't forget when you're bringing in new animations that you need to have the loop time on, and the animation needs to be, the rig needs to be humanoid, animation needs to be looped. And then you can bring the animation in. I would recommend renaming these because they're all called mixamo.com. So Like, you're not going to have any idea which is which. Like, go to the rig, go to humanoid, animation, loop down, apply, open it up, get the mixmo.com, bring it in here. This is going to be +1 and 0. Then if we hit play, we can test it. So he's crouching, idle, drag the thing up, he's crouching, walking, he is crouching, walking backwards, he's crouching, strafing, and he's crouching, strafing. Pretty cool. And he blends between them. Awesome sauceum. So this is why blend trees are so handy. So then all crouching is done. So all this can be deleted. All this can be deleted. Don't delete that. We need that one. Unarmed crouch movement. Did I not call this? Oh yeah, I called it unarmed movement in here, but I didn't call it unarmed. The whole thing unarmed movement. So keep your naming conventions correct, up to date, and good convention of naming. English good, do me. Never mind. Anyway, so unarmed movement is going to be the default. We're going to transition to unarmed crouch movement blend tree if is crouching is true. We're going to go back to the normal movement if is crouching is false. So we're still using this boolean to transition between blend trees, and that's already set up in code. So theoretically, this should still work. I'll just move them back over so we've got a little bit. So you see, it's much neater. So instead of having all these arrows and all these different states messing up all over the animator, that can be quite difficult to follow and understand. And then we don't need all these bools either. Is turning left. Is crouching we're still using. Crouch walking we're not using because we're just blending between them. And has weapon we will still use. So much cleaner, much neater, much easier to follow. And theoretically, if I hit play now, I should be able to walk, and I should be able to crouch and crouch walk, and it should transition. I deleted has weapon. I don't know why I needed has weapon. Stilly Billy. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. I see. OBS just shot itself. But it's okay, because so did my video player. Oh, maybe my video player shot itself and OBS just... I don't know what that means. I mean, it's still recording, so... Anyway. Visual Studios opening... Okay. So we now have the car control player script, which we didn't have last time, because I had some issues getting the mouse movement to work and having some jerkiness with the player movement. So in college, I actually got my teacher to help me, and he came up with this. So we've got a character controller, we've got the X movement and the Z movement, and we're just getting the axes, we're doing a simple move. Character control player. This should my controller dot simple movement. Adding some gravity and doing some Z movement. Sure, I know what that means. So am I gonna? Okay, we're gonna do a void player move. Yeah, I'm going to do a void player move and possibly just move all this into it. So simple move is a part of the character controller component, I would guess. And we're moving Yeah. 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 Well, so your float X movement, so the float will be +1 if you hit on the X movement if you hit the right key or the D key, and it will be -1 if you hit the left key or the D key, and the Z movement will be positive +1 if you hit the up key or the W key, and it'll be -1 if you hit the down key or the S key. And we have it set up that the blend tree is using a float, so hopefully that should if input.get access horizontal. We had this issue before where I was getting this error because this is a float, and it needs to be like, if I need to be saying if it's greater than 0 or if it's less than 0. We saw that in a previous video, and I did fix it and get it to work somehow. Not somehow, that was how. So let's just watch me. Every time I go back to coding something, I end up forgetting how to do it. It's very annoying. Input.get access horizontal. Needs to be. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I definitely need an animator component because that's where my blend tree is. Flower, unarmed, and so basically what I'm trying to do is say if the float, I'm trying to set the float in the animator so that when you press the button, the floats go the correct way, plus on the x-axis for right, and it'll do the blend tree. So set float. There we go. Set float. And whatever I called it, fleur, vel x, vel y, I believe. So we're saying vel x, set it to 1. What I probably need to be saying is if I need this to be equal to this. Basically, so I could just say x movement equals this, or this is equal to x movement. No, I can't do that. I'd have to I can't remember. Input.get access returns the value of the virtual access to the left hand side. I don't know what that means. So complicated. Needlessly complicated. I don't find other things this hard to script. For some reason, just moving an object, moving a character is... I just never remember how to do it. So I'm skipping that. What am I trying to do now? In flare move, we're going to say a float x and a float y. Okay. So it's going to expect a float and an update. We're going to... I mean, I don't... Anyway, well, this is basically the same as doing this. Oh, hello. Hello. What's all this then? Let's just Player moves. We're just going to call that calling in an X float and a Y float. And then set the float. To an X value, which is this. And set the float. I don't know if this will work. It's not getting any errors, but I don't know if it's actually going to do anything. Just skip ahead to testing it, because it takes a while to compile the scripts. So, and it takes a while to play the game. There we go. Nothing's animating, but I'm moving very, very slowly. But I am moving. I'm strafing, and I'm moving. But I'm not animating, so I can move around. Interesting. I have the player anim, which has so according to this, the idle animation is playing. Well, the blend tree is playing. Technically, the idle and so vel X, vel Y, these floats need to change. No, I do not. Hard coding is. Bollocks. Now, how do I figure it out? Player unarmed and I was able to. Alright, yeah, well, we need to set the animator. That's an issue. Let the scripts compile. We're going to just. I know Unity can update scripts while it's playing, but I tend to think it's a better idea to unplay it, then update your scripts, and go back in and replay it. Unassigned reference accepting variable. Player unarmed of character control player has not been assigned. Player unarmed anim. It has been assigned. That is an old error that is still there because I left the game playing while I updated the script. Because the error's clear on play. So if I click to clear, that would go away. Yeah, so that's not an error anymore. Click play. Do I fix it? Did that fix it? Setting the animator. Vel Y, yep. But the vel X isn't working, but vel Y, yeah, it's just the animation is, or the speed that I'm moving him is very, very slow. And you can see that it's, now if I had a joystick and I only had the joystick kind of half pushed up, then he would walk, and fully pushed up he would run. But as you press down the key, so you don't have that same kind of input control on a keyboard, because you're just pressing the key or you're not. I guess you can kind of half press the key, see if that works. I don't know. But if you have a joystick, you definitely get that control over it. So the X is working. Oh, sorry, the Y was working, but the X wasn't. Interesting. Is it because this is moving? No, because it's moving. But I'm going to fix the speed. So set the speed to 10. If I'm making it private, I should make it a serialized field. Oh yes, I'm going to be bold. Because we love serialized fields here. Serialize everything. And then we're going to multiply this by speed by time dot delta time. And that should help with the speed issue. Why the horizontal movement is not working is an interesting one. It's not. It's just set float y. Yeah. Okay. So scripts are compiling. Hit play. So vel y is going forward. Is going backwards. Vel x is not working. Val x is not working. I can see it's setting this here. Oh yeah. If I drag it works. But moving. Interesting. Why would that be? So everything I do for the y, I do for the x. Higher on a random dot set float vel y, which is a float. Is it because this is called z movement and not y movement? Is that anything to do with it? This float really going to be this float, which is this float, which is this? I don't know. Do I try anything? I minimize. Oh, y works. Alex still no work. Oh, y works. Alex. Like we know that works. No, that doesn't work. I don't really see what going back into it and constantly checking it is going to do. So we know it's not working. We just don't know why it's not working. We don't know why. Do I try anything? Side movement is here. Just here. Okay. So the only thing that I can see is different is this. Is the Z move. Set load vel y. That is what I've called it, isn't it? Or vel x, or whichever one's not moving. Parameter float y. What's it say? That's float y. X movement. Player moves, calling this X, this Y. This should just be these things or these things. What's that? Back to checking that yes, the Y works. Obviously, the speed is still too slow. Just gonna pop the speed up. Yeah, that works better. He moves quicker, so that's still a bit slow, but obviously can be changed here. That's fine. Is it because I still have... Oh no, that script is turned off. So I was going to say if I still have that controller script on it, then the controls might be conflicting. Like, the animation works when the float is changed. The float is not changing through code. It's a capital V, a capital X, Bell. I mean, I could just delete it. Is crouching, he crouches. And he crouch walks, so that's cool. At least that all works. Why the rest of it isn't working? What was that? Let me just check something here. So it goes forward, goes back, goes forward. Okay, no, I thought it's because that's already set to -0.5. I thought the crouch moving left and right worked, but it doesn't. Why? Am I gonna actually try anything? Try and fix it? Just start clicking on things and see where they all go. Look at the game view. The pause panel. So this is what my pause panel looks like that we were working on. The resume button and the quit button. Importing, go back to the BFS, click play and have a look at the compiling. Okay. Not working. Can't click on the game view now to that was silly. Silly Billy. Yeah, just pop that anywhere else. I mean, it's still not going to work. No. But that works. That doesn't. So input, check the axis. The horizontal is left and right, A and D, that's correct. So it's not a problem with my input settings. So the make sure that I'm spelling it horizontal correctly. Am I spelling horizontal correctly? It's horizontal. Oh, click the script. Am I going back to my script? I'm playing it again. Even though I haven't changed anything. So we know moving forward and backward works and moving left and right doesn't. We know this. X value change, debug.log. Y value X does not exist. Set float string in the animator. Parameter val X does not exist. And val X does not exist. I mean, I beg to differ. Val X does exist. Val X doesn't set float. Val X does not exist. There it is, Val X. And when I tweak this, it works. Okay, well, we know what? It is used by unarmed movement blend tree. Yeah, but it's not. It's not working. Got Val X here. You know what? I can reassign it. I don't think changing the position of it's going to make a difference. It should. No, I mean, it should be working. Unless it's just an error in Unity and I have to just delete it and then make it again. I don't Because I don't see the issue. I mean, vel y is working, and everything we've done for vel x, we've done for vel y. So why is vel x not working? I'm going to try and... Oh. Okay, now it's working. What? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't tick that. I didn't change anything. I didn't change anything. I mean, I changed the positions of them, and then I went into the name and reset it. Is that all I had to do? Is that what the issue was? Because I'm not doing anything else. And I just click play. And moves forward. Moves, and now it works. So sometimes Unity just bugs out. I don't know why, either just moving it around or going into its name and hitting enter again, why that should fix it, but that seemed to fix it. Let's just make sure. I put in some debugs just to make sure that it was calling these things. So I want to make sure player under step float vel x to x, float x movement input horizontal, player move x y, float x float y. So I haven't changed anything in the script. Z movement. Yeah, no, I haven't changed anything. The only thing I added to the script was just debugs. And somehow that's there. So just the Unity. There you go. Just sometimes Unity is Unity and it doesn't always work. So is crouched is false. So we're going to set up the toggle just like we had in the last one. So if is crouched is true, then you're going to use the crouched blend tree. If it's false, you're going to use the normal blend tree. Rin speed. And just rename that just for clarity because it's not the walking speed, it's the running speed. We're going to make it 50 because we felt that worked better, but I can still change it in the inspector if I change my mind, so that's fine. Another serialized field, which I do like, for a private float crouch speed. See, that's why you need to be careful with your names. Because, run speed. If you just called it speed, then you'd have to, well, you could still call crouch walk speed, but then, then we're going to say if is crouched is false, you're going to do this. So all this stuff, which we know now works for some reason. And then if is crouched is true or just else, you're going to set bool is crouched, or whatever I called it, is crouching. Set that to true, and then basically use the same movement code because that worked fine for the blend tree. We will. You're gonna need movement. You're gonna need basically all of this. but instead multiply it by crouch walk speed instead of run speed. But you will need to move it. Or create a completely new function for crouch walking. What am I going to do? No. Oh, yes. I have to actually say if you press C, it will crouch. Nope. Yeah. If you press C, it crouches. Is crouch. It's true. Still need to put in some movement. If a couple of videos ago, I spoke about this, about a line of code that when a friend of mine read it, it just made no sense. And it was this. If is crouched is false, is crouched is true. Like, what? How can that make sense? And if you, like when you read it, if is crouched is false, it's true. How does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. But if you think about it, when you're pressing C, if is crouched, if you're not already crouched when you're pressing C, then that means you're going to crouch. If you're already crouching when you press C, then you need to stop crouching. So I think you'll always have else is crouched is false kind of thing. So, but that is just a funny line of code of if is crouched is false, is crouched is true. Otherwise, is crouched is false. That's just a nice simple way of using C to toggle between crouching and not crouching, which we shall see. If let the script compile, hit the play button. I am crouching, but I am not moving because I have no movement. If I hit C again, will I stop crouching? Or do I get that far, or am I still just baffled about why I'm not moving? Why am I not moving? Because I have no movement. No. If input key down, key code C. If is crouched is true, then is crouched if false. Otherwise, so if is crouched is else, if just to make sure that I get it right, if is crouched is equal to true, is crouched is equal to false. Just to be sure, that should work. If it's false and you press C, it's true. If it's true and you press C, it sets it to false. Let's go back into Unity. Oh no. If it's crouched is equal to true. There, I'm going to set bool. Okay, so I'm setting the crouching bool here. So if you press C, you are okay. I mean, I'm kind of doing it in two places. I think I'm confusing myself. So I'm saying if you're not crouching, you're going to walk. If you are crouching, you're setting the crouching bool to true, which means the animator is going to make you crouch anyway. But I'm also setting it down here. I guess that works, so I can take that out. If so we're just gonna say if is crouched is false, do that. If is crouched is true, then we're gonna need to move. With crouch speed, yes. I have messed up my curly braces again. I do that every time I copy or I highlight a lot of stuff and delete it. It's not gonna work. You're gonna get a massive error. Dingbat. Look at all those errors. Gotta figure out where I need to either remove one of these or add another one in. So we go, just that connects to that, that connects to that. This does not connect. I think I have one too many. I need that one. I don't think I need all these. I think that one needs to go. Because this is where you open that. You open, close, close that one. This one's not connected to anything. So if I delete that, suddenly everything should line up again. Open. Player move. Oh, this is still in. No, this is not in player mode. This is in its own little contained thingamabobber. I don't want to spend loads of time figuring this out. I need to delete one, I need to add one, I need to do open, close, open, close, open, close. So that's solved that problem. So we got update, we got, so then in here, enter, I want to paste back in my code. And I brought in I brought in a curly bracket I didn't need. There's still an extra curly bracket. So now this, oh well, it doesn't matter. As long as it plays, it does matter. It does matter. Yay. Come on, fix it. There we go. That should do it. So you got to be very careful when you are like mass deleting or copying and pasting stuff that you don't accidentally delete a curly bracket or add one in where it doesn't need to be, because it can just fuck your code and make it's pain in the ass to find sometimes. So play, runs forward, you see, moves side to side, it animates, crouches, walks forward, crouches, moves side to side. So the animations are all working. Moves backwards. So the blend trees are great, and he stands up. Yeah, so you can toggle between the crouch. And all the animations are working. The blend trees are working. So that is a win. We got it working. And that is where we shall finish for now. Oh, sorry. Because I got more work to do. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this crazy ride. If you did, please hit the like button. Consider sharing this video with anyone you think might be interested in joining our community, and consider hitting subscribe and the notification bell icon so that you can keep up to date with everything that I am doing. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. I will see you all next time.